What if you had a team of AI agents managing your social media for you? Imagine you had one AI agent brainstorming ideas, another AI agent writing posts, and another AI agent scheduling those posts. All of the AI agents would ensure posts align with your brand guidelines and unique business voice. Over the past few days, I created a small team of AI agents which do just that. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can build your own small team of AI agents that can help you manage your social media. I'm going to do this without writing a single line of code. We're doing this using a platform known as Relevance AI and a little bit of make.com as well. Right now on YouTube, you will find a few social media automations which can help you to automate your social media. However, I found they are missing 2 points. First is the ability for the AI to create its own ideas. And second, the ability for AI to schedule these posts so it can think about it more strategically. During this video, I'm going to show you how to do 2 of those things amongst others. Let me show you how they work. So at the top, we have the social media manager, which goes out and researches ideas with Perplexity AI and Google search. And it does this to find any trending topics or articles within your specific niche related to your business. Then it delegates some of the work to its sub-agents. We have a LinkedIn post creator, an Instagram post creator, and a Twitter post creator. And then once these AI agents have completed their work, they feed it back to the social media agent who checks the work and then schedules those posts within Buffer. If you haven't heard of Relevance AI, Relevance AI is a no-code platform that allows you to build AI agents for several aspects of your business. And my name is Sean, and I help people automate their workflows with no-code solutions and AI tools. And if you're interested in working with me, you can book a free call in the link in the description below. So let's get started. Forgot to. All right, so let's begin. But before we begin, I just need to quickly introduce the example that we'll be working with today. So in this example, I'm going to create some AI agents for MailChimp. They haven't asked me to do this. I'm not affiliated, but I'm just using them as an example because they have a good set of brand guidelines published online that we can use for this example. So I'm going to be using MailChimp. It's simply an email marketing software. They're targeting B2B, and they mainly target quite a wide range of businesses from small ones to large ones as well. So that's the example we'll be going with. So now let's go into the AI agents. The first one we're going to be looking at is Shia, the social media manager, which is the AI agent which sits at the top and delegates work to the sub-agents as well. So go in there. And here we could see I've built it earlier. Obviously, here's a few chats I've had before. We click on edit agent. All right, so we'll start off with Shia, this social media manager, who's the email agent at the top. And here is the agent I've created before. So we'll just click on edit agent. And you can see I've named the agent here, and I've also included an agent description. Now, I do recommend adding an agent description just because it lets the other agents know how to interact with this particular agent. Now we'll have a look at the tools that are available to this specific agent. So the first tool we have is the Perplexity AI search. And this allows the agent to search Perplexity AI for any content that can inspire this particular agent when it's in sort of briefing the other agents as well. And we'll show you how that works. And we'll just go to build. So once we're in there, the first input I have here is a simple prompt. So I've allowed this AI agent to think of its own prompts to use Perplexity AI with. And this is how it's really going to think of its own ideas. And then when we expand right here, oh, sorry, not this one. This one I left earlier. So we could see first I've labeled it, which is just the text the research prompt right here. It's simply a text input as well. So you just click on text input and then you can add one. And if you are completely new to Relevant AI and some of this is going above your head, I have also created a beginner's guide to Relevant AI, which you can follow as well. And I'll leave a link to that. And then I've instructed the AI agent to enter a research prompt for the latest information around a certain topic. And then it's obviously going to decide to enter that information for MailChimp in this example. And then we have the prompt variable labeled right here. At the bottom, you then need to add an LLM step. You could do that just by clicking on this plus and selecting LLM. And then in this case, the LLM I have selected is Perplexity AI. So we have the prompt variable, which I've added just here. And you could do that just by pressing the two curly brackets and then clicking on prompt. And then you will also see we have this second line here, which is take this information about my company info into account here. About my company info into, so this, we should have it into account here. Let me just make that clear. And then you could see this knowledge variable, which has been referenced. So what is this knowledge variable? So essentially what you can do with Relevant AI is you can upload knowledge data into it. And this will allow the AI agents to take into account any pieces of knowledge that you want it to take into account. So it could be business information, brand guidelines, FAQs if you were building a customer support agent, for example, while it's running this LLM step. So in this example, I've added the knowledge right here. So you could do that just by clicking on this icon here. You click on add knowledge and you have the option to upload PDFs. You can crawl websites, or you can import it from third-party content as well. And here are a few of the PDFs that I've uploaded here. And all I did was create PDFs of some certain sections of MailChimp's content style guidelines here as well. And then once I got the PDFs, I simply uploaded the file. It will take you less than a minute. Websites can sometimes take about 30 minutes, depending on the size of the site as well. And then once you've uploaded that, then it'll give you a message, and then you can reference that in a lot of your tools as well. So then I've just referenced it here. So within the prompt, you can see take this information about my company info into account here. And then it's obviously going to have some information about MailChimp and the brand guidelines, etc. So the next tool we have for generating ideas is a Google search. You don't really need to spend time configuring this, to be honest with you, because it's actually one of the default tools that you can find within Relevant AI. And if you're unsure of where to find it, then you would simply just head to the templates section here and then type in Google, and then you can clone that and then go ahead and add that to your particular agent. The other important thing to do while we are here is you also do need to add your API keys for Perplexity AI. And you can do that just by clicking on integration, scrolling down, and then you would copy and paste it somewhere here. Yeah, so you would copy and paste it down there. All right, so now we'll have a look at the other tools, the remaining tools. Then we have the schedule or social media post tool. So this one was a little bit more in depth, and that's because Relevant AI doesn't have any integration with any social media schedulers native. So what I did was I actually integrated Relevant AI and this particular tool with Buffer. And that's because Buffer will give us the power to schedule our social media posts how we want. So I'll show you how to do that. So there are a few steps here that we had to take into account. So first we needed to create our inputs, and you would create an input just by clicking on one of these down here. In my case, they were all text input. So you simply click on text input here and then begin labeling the various fields here as well. But I'll just scroll up. And the first input we had was the social media post that the AI agent would like to schedule. And you do have to make that crystal clear, because then it knows exactly what to put into this particular variable right here. Then beneath that, I said I've asked it to let us know the platform that it's going to be posting to as well. So in my example, I'm only working with 3 platforms here. So we have X, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And you'll see why that's important in a moment. Beneath that, we have the date that the AI agent would like to schedule the post for. So I've made that crystal clear in plain English as well. And then I've also labeled variable here, so it just has an idea. And what you will notice is I've also added a specific format for the date and time. And that's because that is a format that makes it easy for make.com to read, which is what we're going to be using in a moment to integrate with Buffer as well. And you will notice I've labeled all the variables here as well. So we have caption, social media, and date. So do make sure you do that. And then for the next bit is where we integrate it with Buffer. So for this part, you would need to click on plus, select an API step. And then once you've selected an API step, what we're going to do is we're going to post this data to a webhook, which will then be able to get that info to make.com. So we'll go into make.com. And here is the webhook I made earlier. And I'll just show you how that works. So the first thing you would want to do is create your webhook module here. If you haven't used make.com before, it's simple as right-clicking, clicking on add module, selecting webhook, and then going for a, not that one there, selecting webhook. And you want to create a custom webhook, and it's going to give you this webhook address right here. Once you've done that, you want to copy this particular webhook address and just paste it here, which is what I've done. And then when we scroll down, now we need to get some of the inputs that we have here into make.com. And we do that with these URL parameters right here. So I've named mine the post, which is the caption, the social media channel, which is simply a social media, and the date, which is the date as well. And once we get into make.com, we could see that has been passed here. And we could see my 2 buffer variables here as well, along with a router. And this router just filters out depending on what social media platform it's going to be posted to. You will notice I've only got 2 and I haven't included Instagram. And the reason why I haven't included Instagram, I know a lot of people do generate images with ChatGPT and post it to Instagram. But just in my opinion, I don't think that is kind of that it's kind of ready for Instagram. Instagram is very image heavy. And for now, I still think you do need to create your own imagery, or if you want to create your own Instagram reels, you will have to probably record that as well. There are some people who use HeyGen and kind of automate it that way, and that is fine, but I don't think it's quite there yet. So in my case, what I've done is I've just asked the AI agent to more give me ideas or for posts for Instagram, and it sends it to me via text, and then I would have to go away and make those. But if you did still want to automate some of those posts and kind of add an Instagram flow, it would be the same thing here. So I'll show you how that works. So first we have our router step in the middle. If you haven't used make.com, you would simply right click here and then click on add router. Here we've added a filter for LinkedIn. You can see I've just labeled it LinkedIn. The condition is the social media, which has just been passed through from Relevance AI. And then we want it to match LinkedIn here as well. And then I've gone and connected my Buffer account. So if you don't know what Buffer is just a tool that allows you to schedule social media posts. And this is a tool that kind of made it a lot easier to make that possible with the AI agent here as well. So we can see the text section here along with the post right here. Here is where I've passed through the date that the AI agent will be using here as well. And yeah, if you did want to use Instagram, you would simply add another buffer module here, add an additional router. So you could do that here as well. But I'll just delete this. And it's the same thing for Twitter. So the benefit of using a tool like Buffer is you just log into Buffer, connect your social media accounts. You don't have to mess with any client IDs for Twitter or anything like that, for example. And then we have the text that I passed through here, along with the date that Relevant AI would have picked as well. And the option you want to select for publication is this bottom one here. So post an update at a scheduled time and date, and then you'll see these options pop up here. And then you would just pass through the variables here as well. And this is the tool that the AI agent would actually use to schedule the social media posts. All right. And finally, we have the last tool, which is pretty simple. It's not that exciting. It's just send me an email in Gmail. So I've asked the AI agent to send me this particular email of the Instagram ideas that it has for me as well. And we can go into that. And I can show you how that is set up as well. So it's really simple. So here we have the message ID. All right, let's just go to templates. All right, so yeah. Okay. And then, yeah, the last tool we have is send email in Gmail, which is really simple. It's just going to send me an email with a few of those Instagram ideas as well. And we could see that laid out right here. See the message thread, Gmail ID, email address, email context, and the subject as well. I have a feeling this might have an error, but we'll address that as we go on. Okay, so that is the social media manager at the top. So now let's look at its sub-agents. So if you want to add a sub-agent for this particular agent, you could do that just by clicking on the sub-agent here. And then what I noticed is before you actually add the sub-agents, you need to have already created the sub-agents first. So we'll just take a step back and we'll have a look at some of those other agents. And they're really simple. So we'll start off with Idris, the Instagram crafter. So this is the only agent which hasn't been allowed to post directly. And that's just my choice. But if you want to tweak that, you can do using the make.com flow. So we'll have a look at the agent. So again, I've added this agent description here. If you're unsure of how to add an agent description, I would honestly just use ChatGPT. If you give it the context and explain what you're doing and say you just want a couple lines, ChatGPT is pretty good at doing that. And then within the tools section, we'll just have a look here. So I've just given it one tool, which is the Instagram post here as well. So we'll have a look at how that has been made. And we'll click on build. So yeah, I've given it a simple, a couple of text inputs, and then from there, it's just feeding it into an LLM. So I'll show you how this works. So the first thing we have is the main idea of the post. So I've just labeled this variable as main idea. Then we have the post objective as well, which is define the purpose of the post as well. And then we have the hashtags that we want it to be involved in. And you need to remember these will all be informed by that top social media manager agent as well. And then at the bottom, I've added an LLM step, which is simply just ChatGPT. So you would just click on plus and select LLM and then select ChatGPT. And then this is where I've included this prompt right here. And this prompt, so we just need to add the knowledge here. And this prompt will essentially allow us to create the actual Instagram ideas for the post. So using the following inputs: post content of the main idea, post objective, and the keywords. So we've added the inputs from that it would have got from the manager here, along with the knowledge base. So remember, it's taking into account those brand guidelines and what MailChimp is about as well. And then I've added a set of instructions here. So creating an engaging Instagram post that aligns with our brand voice. One thing I did notice is with each of the tools, I did have to go and add knowledge sections to each of those tools. So that is probably something you're going to have to do as well. But unless someone has found a more quicker way of doing this, maybe I'm doing it a little bit less efficient. Let me know in the comments. All right, so that tool is pretty simple, just a simple Instagram post. And the other thing you have to make sure you do is also include these descriptions as well, because that tells the AI agent exactly how to use the tool. And that's just make sure that it's not confused. So we'll save that. And then we'll go into the Twitter bot right here, which is fairly similar, to be honest with you. So I'll just show you what that looks like. Again, it's just got access to one tool, which is the Xpost Twitter tool. And because these are just writing posts, the tools are quite simple as well. And then from here, when we scroll down, you can see again, it's similar text inputs here as well. And then when we scroll down, I've actually used a very similar prompt here, but I've just tweaked it just so it matches Twitter's guidelines as well. And again, I have done this for LinkedIn here as well. Okay. And yeah, LinkedIn agent is exactly the same format, one tool, similar tool as well. And we just let that load up. Yeah. So the LinkedIn tool is pretty much exactly the same. We have the text inputs, and then I've just edited the prompt so it matches LinkedIn's code and standards a bit more as well. All right, so those are all the tools. So once we go into the main social media manager again, we have the sub agents here, which I would have added. So we would have created all of your sub agents by now. Just click on sub agent and make sure they are added. And now it knows who it's going to delegate its work to as well. And then the final part, which is probably a very important part, and I should have mentioned this at the beginning, are the core instructions for how the AI agent should work, essentially. I've given it some step-by-step instructions. I've also given it some extra information about MailChimp as well, just so it can remember and take that into advantage. And if we have a look at my step-by-step instructions, these step-by-step instructions include how to use each of the tools that it has and also how to delegate that work as well. So one, we could see the first one is use Perplexity AI and Google search to research trending topics, format, and successful posts related to MailChimp. And then it's going to look for any news that's relevant from competitors. And then it's going to take into account the tone and format as well. Then the second step is it's going to generate some ideas. Thirdly, it's going to make sure those ideas align with MailChimp's brand voice. 5, it's going to delegate the post crafting to the sub agents, which you could see I've named here as well. And we could see the formats that I mentioned. And then at the last one, I've also mentioned about scheduling those posts. And for Instagram, I said email the proposed idea to my email address here. And what I would recommend you do, but I haven't done it for this particular one, is you can also add a flow builder, which just allows you to reinforce what you have in the core instruction. I haven't done that today just because I ran out of time. So we'll click on Save Changes. And then now let's head to the agent and start a new chat so I can show you how that works. So what I am going to say to it is, can you schedule some social media posts for the next 2 weeks for me? And we'll hit enter. And once we hit enter, okay, so we have a little bit of a hiccup. All right, so we'll start off by using the tool. All right, so can my social media calendar for this. All right, so we can see that's working. Started off with the first step, which is using Perplexity AI and Google search to find some new trending topics, and it's still working away there. Habits going on. Oh, mate. All right, so we'll go ahead and show you how it works. So we'll just schedule a few posts here. So I'll give it this prompt here. And you can see it's just working away, going through the steps that I've given it. All right, so now we can see it's just delegating some of those posts there. And then it's crafting some Instagram posts here as well. And that's just working away. And now it's scheduling those posts as well using the make.com automation we created. And yes, so the email is an issue. I had a feeling there was an error with that. And I think that might be because the email tool is actually for a different video that I planned. But what we can do is we can just ask it to send us the Instagram plan here as well. The thing I like about this tool as well is when you do run into an error, you can directly ask it what happened and why it ran into an error, and it will just tell you what's going on. Okay, so in this case, email tool had an error, and that's because I'm actually planning something else with that. So I used the wrong tool. But in this example, you could see it's given me some of those posting ideas here as well. And it'll be up for me to go ahead and take those ideas and create them from there. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was useful. If you have any questions, just feel free to let me know in the comments below. And yeah, I look forward to the next one. And then one thing I actually forgot is to show you the posts within Buffer as well. So here is my LinkedIn account. And I think I said next month, so queued up somewhere here. All right, let's just look at the Twitter. Okay, that's fine. Okay.